In this short documentary, a marketplace designed by Jean-François Zevacco in 1973 will be explored and analyzed. This marketplace, called the Marché d'Alimentation, is situated in the European quarters of Casablanca, and it acts as a social meeting place in an otherwise dense city fabric. In Casablanca, during the 1960s, many French-Moroccan architects were experimenting with modernism and its implementation in the city. Zevacco's market is one such an example, and it deals with the idea of uniformity and diversity. Zevacco's market, just like many other modern Moroccan architecture, has been mostly presented to the public through black and white media. This, however, does not truly depict how the architect designed it, and moreover, how it has been adapted and adjusted over time by its users. The true designed reality, and moreover lived reality, is much more colorful. Although the marketplace can be conceived as a uniform scheme, it in fact hosts a lot of diversity. The marketplace becomes energetic, diverse, and full of life. The tension between uniformity and diversity is visible throughout the scheme. The roof is constructed from a modular parasol element, which varies in size and height and is positioned in a playful manner. Together, they create a unifying gesture covering the stage of the marketplace. Additionally, the parasol roofs are placed in such a way that they always create an overlap. The shop stalls work similarly as the roof, wherein a repeating pattern of modular stalls creates compositional forms, resulting in a uniform language. However, Zevacco broke the rigidity of this uniform repetition by sometimes distorting the pattern, enhancing the diversity of the scheme through exception. The positioning of the supporting columns is derived from the corresponding side borders. Furthermore, the placement of the columns was also negotiated by the parking system underground. As there is now an understanding on how the marketplace has been constructed and conceived, now is the moment to enter and experience the lived space. The market is a place on an elevated plateau made accessible by wide stairs. The plaza in front of the gate is sometimes used as a place for prayer. The entrance gate is brought down to a bare minimum passage through the stacking of supplies, making it easier for the local guard to oversee the public. This narrow passage makes one conscious of the process of entering, revealing another reality inside. The narrow nature of the space is extended in the market corridors, emphasized by all the showcased groceries in the circulation area. In these relatively claustrophobic corridors, shopping is the core activity. But then, all of a sudden, the space opens up in a place of social meeting and calmness. It is also where the roof opens up, bringing in extra daylight. Furthermore, it is a place where the amenities of the market are clustered. This relatively calm space is enabled by the blind walls of the shops. The next shopping corridor follows the same logic of the first, however, the shops appropriate the collective space in a smaller degree. At the end of this corridor, a second diagonal corridor intersects, creating a junction of lively commerciality. The space appears to be more generous and light through the introduction of the diagonal and the opening up of the roof. The third corridor is different from all the others, since it is dimensioned in a very generous manner, wherein the roof columns help in delineating different spaces. The core activity has an emphasis on social meeting and enjoying a meal. Through reading the spatial configuration of the market and its occupation, it becomes possible to produce abstracted visualizations of reality. The amount of intervention by the users in the collective space seems to be correlational to the activity of the spaces, creating spaces for shopping and spaces for meeting. These spaces are not only characterized by the user intervention, Zevacco too encouraged it with the careful placement of columns. These spaces are further elaborated by the composition of the scheme, created by a repetition of a single shop unit, and it is precisely at the spaces of meeting where the repetition is distorted. After a closer inspection of the individual shopping stall, these repeated units do not only create diversity through their composition, they also do this through their occupation. The unifying concrete portal has been decorated or even altered by the shop owner's needs. Now, since there is an understanding on how the marketplace operates in its interior, it is time to move out again. Again at this gate there is a local guard, overlooking who enters and who leaves, a point of control that reveals it is not a true public space. After leaving the marketplace and crossing the street, it can be noticed that the market sometimes even extends further than the plateau, its original boundary. In the next visit, on an afternoon, the market appears to be closed. Its collective market space got separated from the city of Casablanca. Although closed from the public, through its colorful presence, the market remains lively in its appearance. The interior market remains visible through the gate, while the displayed goods are protected. The main entrance gate is not only closed, but it is also barricaded by the prayer carpets, creating a border where one is not allowed to stand, creating distance. Whereas the other gates are sliding doors, this gate is the only exception, being a pivoting one. It is the final gate that separates the market from the public space. Zevaco's scheme mediates the public-private relation with 4 zones, determined by architectural borders. Firstly, the plateau and the fence create a distinction between the sidewalk and the public stage. Then, 4 gates create a separation between the public stage and the collective circulation space. And finally, the individual shop fronts create the border between the collective circulation space and the private shop stall. Even after closing time, the exterior market remains in connection with the city, in the form of a public stage. A stage wherein the users perform, creating an animated facade towards the neighborhood. Marché de l'Alimentation is Zevaco's market of diversity in between a unifying roof and plateau.